Hey guys, so in this video I want to show you how to make these views here using constraints and storyboard. First I'll show you how to make this one, and maybe I'll show this one again, or I'll just leave it to you as a challenge. So I've taken the liberty of starting my project already. I've named it sizes, and this is we're using storyboard, and as you can see here I have my preview device on my canvas. So add this, select this add button here to open the object library, and then we want to select the UI view and then just drag it and place it on the canvas, and we can't see it because the background is white, so I'm going to change the color to the green that we saw before. So this is like a blue but sort of similar. And if you don't see your inspector over here, your attribute inspector, then you just want to find this icon and toggle this pane on the right. So if you run your simulator right now, or actually let me try to position it. You can see I've got that center guide and another one, and it looks like I've positioned it correctly, but those guides are only for me, just to show me that this is the middle of the screen. It's not really to pin in the app per se, and I'll show you this when I run this app. So I have my simulator running here, and you can see it looks well positioned here, but the moment that I rotate it, it moves out of line, because this is not really, I haven't set any rules, and the way that we set those rules is using those constraints, and they're going to govern the size and the position. So we want to hover down here of this icon. It's like a square that has arrows pointing towards it from all directions, and if you hover, it says add new constraints. So this is the current position so far. It's 300 from the top, 303, and then this much from the bottom, this much from the right and from the left. And so we want to control this. So firstly, I'll actually use the alignment if I'm going to go right away to center it in the middle. So I'm going to center it here with the line going down, and this is horizontally, as you can see the line, and center it across. This is vertically, and if we add these, we get like two red lines. So red indicates an error, you know, that something is a bit off, and that's because we need 4 constraints at all times. So then we want to come to that one we had selected, so it knows that it needs to be in the middle, this way and that way, and it's calculating from the center of the object if it's using alignment. But then it's going to say it doesn't know how wide it should be, so when we set the width, it's going to calculate this 240, right? So half of 240 going this way and that way, and the height is 128. And I'll illustrate this by creating a square, be 150 and another 150 this way. And now when I add those two constraints, you see everything goes blue and I have my square. And then running the app again, you'll see that I now have this square that pops up here, and if I rotate my app, you'll see it stays right there in the middle. It's there in the middle, doesn't go away. Okay, so that's great. And now, so we have another one here, this view, and this is kind of like a bigger rectangle, not necessarily in the center. So we want to get rid of all these constraints that we set to this view so that we can start over. And if we come here to resolve the issues, so we can reset the constraints or clear the constraints, or reset to suggested. I'm just going to clear them all. And so the view needs to be somewhere up top here. So I'll start by moving it up there. So I'll lessen this distance from the top, and I'll lessen this distance from the left, and this will be like 50. Alright, and as you can see, remember we still have those two lines because we have those two constraints, so we need to add those two other ones. We don't need to add them again, so don't add these again because they're already there, otherwise you're going to get errors. And then we currently, the view is set to 150 for the width, 150 for the height, and we just want to go with those because we hadn't set them again. So, and now we can see here. So while this doesn't look quite exactly like the end result we have here, it's still, I'd say, we make it a little bit wider and a little bit taller. So to do that, when we click on the view, we can see our constraint here for width and one for the height. So we hover over it until it sort of glows, and then if we click on it here on the right panel, you see there's this constant, and this is, this is defining, it says height constraint, as we can see, and that's the one we want to change. So I'll change this to 250 and press enter to make sure it implements, as you can see. And then now if I click on this one, here it says width constraint and also a constant, and then I'll just change this to 200, and that looks a bit more like this one. Still not quite, but I think that will have to do. So you can play around with these numbers as much as you like, the distance from the top, the distance from here, and I will run this app. Alright, and you can see we sort of have that. And even if we rotate the phone, or upside down doesn't quite work the same in the simulator, but on devices should, and we have it. So that's it for this lesson, and the next lesson I'm going to be introducing some more stuff, explaining it in plain detail.